In the heartlands of forgotten time, two titans stood poised on the brink of eternity. The Ethelian Empire, forged in sun-scorched deserts, a testament to endurance and ancient wisdom. And the Valorian dominion, born from frozen peaks and shadowed forests, a realm of unyielding strength and fierce ambition. For generations, their borders were scars upon the earth, lines drawn not just in soil, but in blood, rivalry, and fear. Peace was a fragile whisper, a memory so distant it felt like a myth. Now, that whisper has faded. The drums of war thunder across the plains, and a storm of steel and fire is about to break. The air hangs heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth, cold iron, and unspoken fear. On the fields of Eldoria, the last bastion of neutrality, a sea of soldiers awaits the dawn. On one side, the golden banners of Ethel snap in the wind, their scaled armor gleaming like a dragon's hide. They check their curved blades, retie their leather straps, and murmur prayers to gods of sun and sand. Their faces are grim, etched with the certainty that not all will see another sunrise. They are sons, fathers, and brothers, each a single thread in the vast, golden tapestry of their empire. They fight for the legacy of their ancestors, for the scorching sun that blessed their birth. Facing them, a wall of silver and blue. The Valorian legions stand like a glacier, immovable and immense. Their armor is heavy plate, their shields are towers of oak and steel. They sharpen their greatswords, their breath misting in the pre-dawn chill. These warriors, raised in the harshness of the north, see this battle as their ultimate test. They fight for honor, for the glory of their dominion, and for the promise of a future forged in their own image. A young legionary clutches a small wooden carving of a wolf, a gift from his sister, his knuckles white. He is no different from the Ethelian soldier across the field, who touches a faded ribbon tied to his wrist, a token from his beloved. They are enemies by birth, but brothers in this terrifying, final moment of peace. The silence is a living thing, a coiled serpent ready to strike. It's broken only by the caw of a lone crow circling high above, a silent observer to the madness of men. Then, a single horn blast shatters the quiet. It's a mournful, guttural cry that echoes from the Valorian lines. The Ethelian war horns answer, a roaring chorus that shakes the very ground. And with that, the world explodes. The first volley of arrows arcs across the sky, a black cloud that eclipses the rising sun. They fall like deadly rain, thudding into shields, earth, and flesh. The charge begins. It's not a rush, but an earthquake of 10,000 feet. The ground trembles as the two armies surge forward, a collision of gold and silver, desert and frost. The moment of impact is a symphony of chaos. Steel shrieks against steel. The disciplined Valorian shield wall meets the fluid, ferocious charge of the Ethelian warriors. It's a clash of philosophies, the unyielding mountain versus the relentless river. Swords and axes rise and fall. Men shout, scream, and fight with a desperation that transcends training. The camera sweeps over the battlefield, a canvas of brutal artistry. We see a Valorian champion, a giant of a man with a twin-bladed axe, carving a path through the enemy lines, a whirlwind of destruction. He is met by an Etheline blademaster, her twin scimitars, a blur of motion, deflecting his heavy blows with impossible grace. Their duel is a dance of death in the heart of the storm, a personal war within the greater conflict. But this is not just a story of champions. It's a story of ordinary soldiers. We see a young Ethelian archer, his hands shaking as he notches another arrow, his eyes scanning for targets, trying to protect his comrades on the front line. A Valorian medic, unarmed and unprotected, drags a wounded soldier back from the fray, ignoring the arrows whistling past her head. Her duty is to life, even in a field dedicated to death. We witness a moment of pure humanity amidst the carnage. An Ethelyn soldier falls, his leg shattered. A Valorian legionary stands over him, sword raised, but he hesitates. He sees not an enemy, but a man, broken and helpless. In that moment of hesitation, another fight pulls him away, leaving the wounded man to his fate, a life spared by a flicker of conscience. The battle rages for hours. The sun climbs high, beating down on the exhausted armies. The initial fury has given way to a grim, grinding struggle for survival. Formations break. Strategies dissolve into desperate skirmishes. Every inch of ground is bought with a heavy price. We follow a small band of Ethelyn riders on a daring flanking maneuver. They weave through the chaos, their goal a Valorian siege engine that has been raining destruction on their lines. They are outnumbered, a desperate gamble against impossible odds. One by one, they fall, sacrificing themselves so that the last rider can reach the target. He leaps from his horse, torch in hand, and plunges it into the war machine's ammunition. The resulting explosion is a funeral pyre for a hero, but it silences the machine, giving his comrades a fighting chance. On the other side, a group of Valorian legionaries are cut off, surrounded. Their commander, a veteran with a dozen scars, rallies them for one last stand. They lock their shields, forming a tiny island of defiance in a sea of enemies. For Valoria, for our brothers. He roars, his voice raw. They fight back to back, a family forged in battle, selling their lives dearly until the very end. Their sacrifice is not in vain. Their stand delayed a critical enemy advance, buying precious time for their main force to regroup. This is the nature of this war. Countless stories of bravery, of loss, of unity, playing out simultaneously across a field of mud and blood. These aren't just faceless soldiers in an army. They are individuals bound by a common cause, fighting for the person standing next to them. As dusk begins to settle, the landscape is almost unrecognizable. The once green fields of Eldoria are now a scarred wasteland, littered with broken banners, shattered weapons, and the silent forms of the fallen. The sounds of battle have faded into the groans of the wounded and the mournful cry of the wind. The fight is over, but there is no victor. There is only survival. The cost has been catastrophic for both sides. The grand empires have bled each other dry, their strength shattered, their pride humbled. A lone Valorian soldier, the same young man who clutched the wolf carving, stumbles through the wreckage. His armor is dented, his face streaked with grime and tears. He's searching for his friends, for anyone. He finds his commander, the grizzled veteran, leaning against a broken cart, a fatal wound in his side. The commander looks at the boy, a sad smile on his lips. "We fought well," he whispers, his voice barely audible. "Remember that, remember them." He closes his eyes, and the boy is left alone with his grief. Nearby, an Ethelyn warrior, the blade master from the duel, is tending to a wounded enemy. Her opponent, the Valorian champion, lies on the ground, his leg trapped beneath a dead horse. His axe is gone, his strength spent. She had the chance to end him, but in the quiet aftermath, the rage is gone. She works to free him, their earlier animosity forgotten. He looks at her, confused. "Why?" he grunts. She doesn't answer. She simply offers him her water skin. He drinks, and in that simple act, a bridge is formed. They are no longer Ethelyn and Valorian. They are just two survivors in a world of ruin. All across the field, similar scenes unfold. Soldiers who were trying to kill each other hours ago are now helping one another. They share water, bind wounds, and offer a comforting hand. They speak not of empires or glory, but of home, of family, of the sun, and of the snow. They discovered that the monsters from the stories their leaders told them were just men, like them. The enmity that fueled a century of conflict dissolves in the shared experience of suffering. They see the humanity in each other's eyes, a humanity that was always there, just buried beneath flags and prejudice. The leaders, the kings and generals who started this war from the safety of their thrones, have lost. Their great game of power has ended in a stalemate of sorrow. But here, on the battlefield, something new is beginning. Amidst the ruins of their old world, these soldiers, these former enemies, are laying the first stones of a new one. A world built not on borders and banners, but on mutual respect and understanding. The war ended not with a treaty signed by kings, but with a sip of water shared between two warriors. A silent promise that this must never happen again. The sun sets, casting long shadows that look like reaching hands. For the first time in a long time, there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. Thank you for watching. The stories we tell shape our world. If this one moved you, consider subscribing and joining our community. Let's continue to explore the depths of human nature together. Until next time.